All right, welcome all. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call roll. Dennis Carl will be excused too.
Commissioner Walters? Commissioner Reed?
Here.
Commissioner Whittington?
Here.
Commissioner Virgo?
Here.
Thank you. Are there any corrections or additions to the agenda? Reading of the cash balances.
101 general fund, $288,808.08. Advance from 516 UT, $655,000. Advance from 239 Gypsy Mall, $350,000. Advance from 216 911, $425,000. Total general fund cash, $288,808.08 before the bills.
Thank you. We'll take up the consent agenda.
Or
Been moved and supported. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Public comments. Are there any public comments? See, I saved room for public comments, and now we're gonna have Neil going early. Christie has a request here. There's been some challenges with the 290, 291, 292 funds, and I'll let her explain that to you, but we need to authorize her to do some manipulating.
Cash balances in the 290 account, 13,298, and in the 291 account, $14,820. And that's just on rollover money for the past, I don't know how many years it dates back, but anyways, you give it the board, that board appropriations, they use them, any money's left over just kept rolling over. I talked to them and asked them to look to see if they have any designated funds that were theirs from those, and they could not account for any. So I guess it's my recommendation that the board move those to general funds so that we can put those back to a zero balance. The way they should.
I'll make that motion.
The way it's handled with DHS now is it goes directly through Midland, so I just transfer the money to them as they get it in, and that's just Glen County money.
And they're requesting another $75,000. They're expecting anyways by the end of the year, so.
Right, and then with that, because they're asking for additional child care funds, from the 14,280, or excuse me, 14,820, you know, I guess look to the board to see if they wanted to increase that appropriation. If they increased it to 15, which is what will get them through, hopefully through the end of October, so they can see where we're at, then it would only cost the board $179.
I'll support the motion.
So it'll go back to zero, and there's no question.
And then they get the funds that we need
Right,
for now.
yeah,
But we're gonna have to address this again, probably November.
right. And I don't know that they need, but they have $7,500 left in the social welfare fund for appropriations. And, you know, other than the designations coming up, I don't know that they will need all of that. So maybe that's an option later down the road,
And we need to watch.
right?
Okay, I got a motion. Is there support?
Jerry Stewart.
Okay,
Yep, Terry.
very good. It's been moved and supported. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Christie. I guess, Neil, we might as well have you go now. You're ready, right?
Yeah, I am. Giving each one of you revenue and expenditure report, a summary version for the general fund. Through yesterday was a key day because it was a payroll day. So this is a September financial report, so we're 75% of the way through the year. I highlighted that at the top of the page, first page. If you flip to the second page, I highlighted the amended budget column, 2013. So everything we've talked about since the beginning of the year, all the planning, we've put in budget amendments. So we're going to end the year with a fund balance of $13,695, okay, if we don't do anything. We talked about getting to 13% over 3 years. If we have a first year goal of 5%, 5% times the $8,953,000 gives us a hopeful fund balance of $447,000. To get to that point, we need cuts totaling $434,000 from now to the end of the year. Otherwise, there's a very good chance we'll end in a deficit, and that just brings tremendous scrutiny on the organization from the state when your general fund is in a deficit position. I highlighted each one of the departments that are over that 75% threshold. There's some areas where we should probably cut. So I'm asking the board's permission to give me the authority, along with the finance committee, to sit down with these departments, identify that we want to make cuts through the end of the year, that total $434,000.
But that 434 is a yearly amount, right? We won't achieve 434, obviously, between now and December 31st.
We should try our best to achieve that between now and December 31st. So we finished last year, you can see the original, the very first column. We ended last year with a fund balance of $261,000, which is roughly 3%. So we've taken a tremendous step backwards right now, like being down to 13,000. Really move forward. The other thing, if the millage is successful, those dollars, even though it's on the 2013 tax levy, those dollars won't be recognized until 2014. So there'll be no help in this year's 2013 financials.
There, and there's a motion on the floor, but is there support for the motion? Or do you want?
Support.
All right, just a few comments before we vote on this. The 13,000, I think it's important that we identify what some of the reasons why we've lost our fund balance that we had acquired. Some of that being the property values. Did you have that in here?
No. So the decline in property values, we thought we'd hit a certain number for tax revenues. That number is going to be about $285,000 less than what we had budgeted for.
We'll be short of that?
Yeah, so when you passed the budget last December or November, you were given a projection of what tax receipts are going to be. Once we sent out the bills, we realized it was going to be $285,000 less. So that's the major hit.
And then it don't help. There's just other departments, state departments that just need more money. The child care fund is, always been one of those things that, we feel that we need to take care of our kids, but another $75,000 is what they're expecting that to cost us this year. That if it does, that's not even figured into this 13,000.
Not yet, no.
So that would put us into a deficit right there. So, yeah, I mean, we hired Neil to do a job, and I don't know what else we can do. So there's a motion and support on the floor. Might as well do roll call.
I didn't get the entire, the wording of the motion. Can you reread that,
I don't have it here.
The board to grant the authority to financial coordinator and the finance committee to identify cuts totaling $434,000 to take place the balance of 2013.
those keywords identify.
Madam Clerk?
No, just those. Okay. Commissioner Walters? Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Whittington?
Yes.
Commissioner Burgo?
Yes.
Excuse me, Josh, does that mean that the board's gonna cut 434 out of this year's budget?
I think that's our main objective.
Wow. Good luck with that.
Committee reports, Commissioner Walters.
Township city meetings, Lake Improvement Board, last week, Pratt Lake and Lake County, mental health coming up. That's all I have.
Commissioner Burgo.
I was in the Beaver City council meeting, zoning board of appeals, the fair board, I'll come back to that, the airport, and this information with the health department. All of these have things going on that affect all of us. Tomorrow's meetings, at Central Michigan District Health Department, I have 3 of them. One of them is confirming our option to choose to have the fees increased for sanitation permits and other services that the Board of Health performs. That meeting's at 2:30 tomorrow. The other one is the Fair Board is, the fair is in very dire straits on money. There's a lot of controversy going on inside it. And at this point, I am doing my best to try to help them come to a solution that will get them back headed in the right direction in money. We're down to about $5,000. So. And Joanne Barner resigned, so it's in case you.
Oh, she did?
Not from the board, as the director, but as the secretary. The airport, at the meeting last Thursday, Terry could have told you too, the mayor insists that we pay our $15,000 that we still owe. That's the way I took it, how'd you take it, Terry? He wanted to, and he said, we have to pay this. And Terry and I responded, so. That's all really that we didn't share.
Commissioner Whittington.
As Don just mentioned, I attended the airport meeting. Also, I attended the Secord Township meeting. And there's, I think the majority of the people out there, there are a lot of questions on the village. On the public safety building. And I got the feeling from, and there was a lot of questions from the audience too, as well as the board. And they seem to have, the majority of those seem to be okay with it. There was, I think, 2 that had problems with the 2 cities being involved in it, but I tried to explain that, and I think they understood. But, and I attended this one, the finance meeting, I forgot what day, one day last week, but, other than that, not, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm not getting much feedback from you, one way or the other. And, keep passing those pamphlets out at the restaurants and then out to the government to the restaurants. They disappear in a hurry, so somebody's taking them. And I talked to the clerk out there last Thursday, and so far they have had over 300 and some absentee ballot applications. So it's quite a few for,
That's the Billings
Yeah.
Township.
buildings. And moving on to finance matters. Sheriff requested that Unit 26A be repaired by High Caliber at the cost of $1,107.68. And the motion is needed to allow the vehicle to be repaired and appropriate paperwork to be filed with MMRMA, and I will make that motion.
Support.
Comment, I don't know that we're filing paperwork, are we guys?
What's
We have
that?
$1,000 deductible, so we wouldn't file that with MMRMA, would we?
Yeah, you have to get that money.
Get the $100.
You gotta pay $1,000 and get the payment on the rest of it, you have to contact MMRMA.
Okay. But it's an $1,100 bill,
Yeah.
so we wanna make a claim for the $100.
I don't know, do we? That's a.
I just don't want our rates going up over the $100.
Does MMRA, do they do their underwriting on that basis?
I don't know.
I don't think they
They
do.
don't need to.
I'll talk to them about it. I've got a contact now.
In other words, if we were Allstate or Farm Bureau, I'd say, yeah, makes sense. Just eat the 100 and
Okay.
keep it off your.
Well, we want the 100 if it's not gonna ding us or, you know, with our rating or whatever, so I'll talk to them about it. Another to-do list, I think, okay, sorry, Terry.
Do you want to, how do you want to handle that thing?
We'll vote on it and I'll submit it.
Okay.
I think I got paperwork from them anyways, so, it's been moved and forwarded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Rick Jet Maintenance asked the committee for permission to have door number 1 repaired in the jail at a cost of approximately $2,701. This project will be paid from line 101-351-930-000. The motion is to allow Rick to repair that door using Gil Bones at $2,401. In Raleigh Electric, not to exceed 300.
And I'll comment that we did do some research, and I did Google it trying to find a cheaper knob, and that's actually a good price, believe it or not. It's ridiculous, but it is what it
I think
is.
it was cheaper than what you came up with on the internet, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was cheaper than what I found on the internet, so. Did you make that in the form of a motion?
Yes.
I'll support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
The MMRMA renewal documents are being prepared for submission by the financial coordinator. A motion is needed to allow the chairman to sign the documents and submit them to MMRMA upon completion, and I will make that motion.
Just with the comment that we are going over those right now, just making sure that the values that were assigned to our buildings are what we want. Technically, that's really what it is. They hired an outside company to appraise them, so we want to make sure those values are right, and then Neil and I will get those shipped off. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Number 4, a motion is needed to allow the treasurer to handle the following. Transfer $13,298.38
We did that, right?
$290 and $14,820.33 from line 291 to the general fund to zero out the funds showing each month that all appropriations and revenue is transferred to DHS each month. In addition, the board should make a motion to increase the appropriation to the 291 fund up to $30,000 from the current $15,000. This should resolve the funding issue for the balance of 2013, and I will make that motion.
Support.
It's been moved
You
and
already
supported.
voted on it.
Yeah,
That's,
we did it, but it's in the document, so.
Number 5, Bob Evans, Drain Commissioner, is requested to replace an employee that will be leaving on October the 3rd. A motion is needed to allow the Drain Commissioner to replace his employee, now at a rate of $8 an hour and 21 hours per week. He will be allowed to post the position internally, and if there are no interested persons, he will look outside.
And I'm gonna comment on that. That's his deputy, which statutorily we have to provide, so there's really no options there at this point, so. Did you-
And I'll make that motion.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Number 6, the financial coordinator is recommending the following budget amendment to cover the election costs for 2013. Increase line 101-191-727-000 to $23,000. A motion is needed to allow for the budget amendments as recommended, and I would also make that motion.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And Mr. Chairman, that's, yeah.
All right, I have attended the Hay Township meeting and Tobacco Township meeting, and we was invited to there, and the Kiwanis Club at one point, I don't remember what date that was, and they invited me to the GOP meeting on the 3rd, so I'll be attending that. And have had multiple conversations about this millage, and, you know, it seems like it's a mixed bag, and it's just so important that people vote and let us know what direction to go. It's unfortunate that we have to do any types of cuts really before the vote, but I also don't want to be in a position where we don't have enough monies to make payroll and, you know, meet our obligations. And we did hire Neil to do what he's doing, and, you know, I don't really see any other way out of this, so it's one of those things. On the other hand, I do want to talk a little bit about the Clear Gladwin RESD building trades class. They are doing, right now, 2 roofs for the fairgrounds. The fair board received a grant in the sum of roughly $4,000, which the lumberyard has made it work financially for them with materials. And then they are moving over to Gladwin Fire. We was fortunate enough that Jonkin Builders volunteered their efforts and poured the concrete for the storage building for the fire hall for free. And then RESD is going over there to build the building. So, you know, Josh Myers and the crew at the RESD is pretty fantastic when it comes to teaching those kids how to do these programs, and they actually look for community projects to do like this. And then from there, they're moving over to the CBEC Foundation in the park, and they're going to be doing the addition on that sportsman's club out there. And I know Rick needs to come here and go over that with us at a very near future meeting. But I do know that they've got the majority of the windows replaced out there already in the lodge, so it seems like they're moving along pretty good.
Josh, with the Clear Gladwin RESD, the Glen County Land Bank is also partnering with them next year to build a house in the city. We're going to demo one of the houses that we foreclosed on.
And yeah, we talked about that. Did you talk to Habitat at all? I forgot to get back with you on that.
I have not heard back from them,
Oh.
but I talked to Josh and we're going to meet and get everything worked out.
So the land bank would have the funds to front the house, and then
A portion, yes.
yeah, and that could be sold, and then Okay.
Like, yeah, to keep the kids, the program going as well, because they've had a hard time getting some projects.
They do, and Josh has been begging me for projects, and it's like, you have to have the money to build something, but nevertheless, yeah, there's plenty of projects right now. I think last year they did a whole bunch for the theater down here in the park, and they built a couple cabins that we supplied multiple years ago, so they've been busy. It's a good program.
And there's some grants too that we can get working with the kids, so we should be good.
Is there anything else? Anything from the board? Any public comments? Motion is in order to receive and file.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Motion to adjourn.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.